السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. اللهم يا مسبب الأسباب سبب لنا أسباب الخير يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا فاجعل لنا هذا الأمر سهلا يا أكرم الأكرمين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ثم أما بعد، subhanallah, brothers and sisters, as brother said, I was here last year and I had the honor and the privilege of helping the masjid raise funds for the project. I don't know if you know or you noticed or not, we are in the beginning of the Hijri year. It is not part of our tradition to say Happy New Year. But I think in order to build the identity of our children, they have to know when their year starts. It's not a religious matter, it is an identity matter. An identity is so important, brothers and sisters, that actually identity brings you back to Islam, to the deen itself. Example, look at yourself. Many of us, we grew up not in a very religious house. Some of our family members were praying, some others were not praying. Maybe your father told you to pray, maybe your father never told you to pray. But there was something that is very clear, as much as the sun, and it was behind the scene, that you are Muslim, you're born Muslim, you celebrate Muslim holidays, you go to the masjid on the Jum'ah, you are connected with your masjid, with your deen, with your Eid, with Ramadan, the general items of the year that made you identify yourself as a Muslim. But not a very good practice in Islam. And some of you took a journey, Allahu A'lam. You went to college, maybe you didn't even pray in college. Maybe you didn't even know where is the Qibla direction. But there was one thing clear in your mind, that you are Muslim. And that clarity kept you anchored in your identity, and you went on God knows how many detours, and you went away, and you tried this, and you tried that, and you tried this, and you tried that. And finally, one day, something clicked, in which your childhood clicked with your adulthood. You were walking down the store, and the owner of the store, or you were driving with someone, and he turned on the Quran, and the Qari was the same Qari your father used to listen to. He didn't ask you to listen to him, but you were listening to him in the background anyway. Something happened, something clicks, an event, something takes place that awakens inside you to your identity, to your mind, heart, and soul structure, to who you are and how you identify yourself. And that brought you to your knees, and that brought you back to Islam. Brothers and sisters, sometimes we remember to teach our religion to our children, but we forget to teach them their identity. And that is very dangerous. When it comes to us parents who are very careful and very curious and very stressed to teach our children Islam, we forget something. We forget that Islam and the identity of Islam is taught in an indirect way. I trust here, all my sisters and all my brothers, I trust you all have a high school diploma. I know some of you have bachelor degree, others have masters, and maybe some of you are doctors and PhD. Can you sit down here? Can you sit down? Thank you. So what happens? What happens is, I'm asking you, if you went up to high school for 12 years and college for 4 years, total 16 years. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you remember a single year out of the 16 years, from beginning to end, what you learned in every class, in every day? Do you remember the information that you learned in 1 year? Some of you here are physicians. Do you know what a physician means? That you had to go to 4 years pre-medical, 4 years medical, so from 16 to 20, and then another 3 years of residency, to 5 years, we're talking about 25 years of education. And you stand up, you stop that doctor and you ask him, do you remember a single year from the 25 years, from beginning to end, from morning to evening? Do you remember 1 year? Do you remember 1 year? Anyone here remembers a whole year? Okay, I'll give you a discount. Anyone remembers 1 month? From beginning of the month to the end of the month, from morning to evening, everything you learned in school. I'll give you another solution. Any one of you remembers 1 week? 1 week out of 16 years of school, 1 week, best 1 week. What did you learn in 1 week? From morning to evening, from beginning to end. Nothing. I'll make it easier for you. 1 day. You know what? None of you is raising your hand. So I'm going to make it easier. 1 45 minutes period. 1 45 minutes period. What you learned in that period from beginning to end, minute by minute. Do you remember? Nothing. What were you doing exactly in school? What were you doing? Were wasting your time? But here's a question for you. One day, you were sitting down with your grandmother while she was cooking the favorite food for the whole family. And she was sitting down while cooking, telling you a story about her youth and your father, your son. And I bet you, with everything that I own in this life, I will bet you on my children, you remember everything your grandmother said in that story. No, I bet you more. I bet you remember what she was wearing and what she was cooking, and was it a day or night, and was there furniture, and what type of furniture, and what's the color of the furniture, and everything that your grandmother was talking, and everything that happened, and the smell of the food, you remember it. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that interesting? Brothers and sisters, you have to awaken to something different. Direct education hardly registers in the mind. Environment and indirect education sticks with you for the rest of your life. Even if you want to forget it, you cannot forget it. Even if you want to get rid of it, you cannot get rid of it. The reason why we here, and I'm talking about we, some of us, not all of us, immigrants, why we so much attached to our Islam. We want our children to be attached to Islam. We want to teach them their deen, and we want, please memorize Quran, please go to Sunday school, please know your surah. Why? Because we want them to be like us. But look at you. I bet you did not memorize your surah when you were a kid. I bet you were not stressed out, or your father was not stressed out. Why? Because you lived in an environment. The house environment, the street environment, the school environment, the relatives environment, the masjid next to your house, the market when you went to the market, the neighbors that raised you as well as your parents. and if they saw you doing something wrong, they would have straightened you up. All of that was the indirect education that made you who you are today. We come to our children, we hand it to them dry. You know when someone eats, so hungry, and then you give him a dry baked potato that has been out in the sun for 2 weeks after you cook it. And you give it to them and you say, here, eat it. Eat it. You know what? They will eat it. And they cannot wait for the day that they will set it out again. That's why, brothers and sisters, what you don't know, what you don't realize, is when we say we're building or finishing or supporting or paying off a masjid, you don't get it. What we're saying is basically we are duplicating the environment that you grew up in a Muslim country, in the new country, in your back home, in the new home. And this environment in which you see this little kid that I just told him sit down? I was not actually much bothered by him, mashallah. But this kid, if he continues just to come into the masjid and just run down like that, and nobody teaches him anything about Islam, nothing. Just, he hears the Sheikh, Allahu Akbar, Yadan, Iqamah, Salah, and he runs and he prays and he comes back and he kept on running. This kid, if nobody teaches him a single surah from the Quran, nothing, just let him run around in the masjid his whole life, he will grow up to be a sheikh. And you know what I'm talking about. And the kid that you brought and you stuffed him and stuffed him and stuffed him and stuffed him and stuffed him with knowledge, he cannot wait until he's 18 so that he can throw it up all over again. That's why, brothers and sisters, this environment, like right now, is it the same? Is it the same when you came to this fundraising had we had it in Hilton? You're walking in, you pass by the masjid, you see the daycare, you see the Muslim sisters, the Muslim brothers, someone is finishing Maghrib, someone is about to do his sunnah, someone is making wudu, someone is this. You walk in here, you sit down, Muslim brothers and sisters, invite the food, the hummus, the what? Samosa. Yani mashallah, it's fair and square today. The Arab and Indo-Pak, and mashallah, I don't think Iman united us, but the food united us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wallahi, the Prophet ﷺ was a wise man. He said, أطعموا الطعام وأفشوا السلام وصلوا بالليل والناس نيام تدخلوا جنة ربكم بسلام. Feed people. Food brings people together, and there is nothing wrong with that, by the way. There is nothing wrong with that. The Prophet ﷺ used to say, invite people. If one of you cooks food, put more water in the food and invite your neighbors so that there is more food, like increase the volume of the food. Because Masakin, they were poor, like they couldn't increase the amount of the food, so the Prophet said increase the water of the food so that there is more soup, so that you can feed more people. Brothers and sisters, this right now, when you are sitting down, you're sitting down as a Muslim in the house of Allah, in an Islamic center, surrounded by believers. You feed yourself. You go to the masjid, Bismillah, you want to make wudu, you take and you put your feet in the sink, you go to Hilton. You're not yourself. You're not yourself. That's why, brothers and sisters, when we talk about masajid, when we talk about Islamic centers, when we talk about these places, we're not talking about, okay, let's come, we have a building, let's make the building, let's build some columns, make a nice ceiling, yalla, pray, Bismillah, Allah, yalla, go home. That's not it, brothers and sisters. You are building a child from scratch. From day one, you're building a child, day by day by day. Every day he comes to the masjid, I am a Muslim. You're not killing him, but the masjid is killing him, the environment is killing him. That's why, brothers and sisters, I want to open your eyes to this fact. Please, Learn from it, because our deen was taught that way. Do you know how smart Rasulullah is? Do you know how smart he is? Rasulullah realized this fact. Allah guided him that Rasulullah, his entire life, avoided seminars, lectures, and speeches. And most of his teachings, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, happened through conversations. You ask this, mashallah, how old is your son? 5. Wallahi, I was about to say 5 years old. You ask him, who is the greatest teacher in the history of mankind? He will tell you Rasulullah, Muhammad. A 5 years old will know that. You ask him, who is the best student in history? He will tell you Sahaba. 5 years old, no problem. طب يا أخي عجيب. The greatest teacher, the greatest students. Why don't we refer to them to the greatest teacher, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the greatest student, radiallahu ta'ala? No. And he didn't teach that way, and he didn't want it to be registered in history that way. What did he want? Rasulullah wa sahabatuhu. What is sahaba? What does it mean the word sahaba? Sahib. What is sahib? Friend. The Prophet and his friends. The Prophet and his companions. What is in that? In the word sahaba, there is a secret. The secret of education of Rasulullah is in the word sahaba. How did he teach? Through suhbah. He's walking with his كنا مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. We were with Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. فمررنا على شاب. We passed by a shab, which means like a lamb. And that lamb was dead for 2 weeks. And it was stinking. So Rasulullah said, how honorable is this shab to you? They said, Ya Rasulullah, what honor you are talking about? Who will buy this shab from me for any money, even 2 dirham? They said, Ya Rasulullah, who is going to buy this shab? How great is this shab in your eyes? They said, Ya Rasulullah, wallah, it's not great, it's even the least. It's not great, even the least. Rasulullah said, and all the temptation of life, the big house, the big furniture, and the colorful furniture, and the colorful clothes, and the colorful makeup, and the colorful this, and the colorful that, and the looks, and the clothes, and everything, all of that is less in the sight of Allah than this dead sheep in your sight. Do you know what that did to Sahaba? It just got engraved. Do you know why we have so much hadith and it was not forgotten? Do you know why? Because Rasulullah taught through conversations. And every conversation got imprinted. Every conversation got imprinted. Every conversation got imprinted. And he would speak so little so that people would remember. Aisha radiallahu anha said, Rasulullah, when he used to speak so slow that even if you want to count the number of the letters in the word, you can count it. And he used to repeat and repeat and repeat to make sure everybody got it. Through a conversation. Yes, we're walking. Look, hadith, you see? Look, you know, how long have I been speaking right now? For a long time. SubhanAllah. How long was the speeches of Rasulullah? I have a challenge for you. Go and read Sahih al-Bukhari from the library of the masjid. Look at the Arabic text. And look how long are each hadith. Do you know, if you quote the hadith and you say, I want to see in real time how long this hadith took. Do you know you can read the whole page? Hardly any hadith is bigger than 2-3 sentences. But the big hadith are half a page, 1 page. If you were reading it and timing yourself, it would take 2 minutes to read the page. The entire hadith. Are you ready to time with me? We have a stopwatch. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Finish. How long was that? How many seconds? Subhanallah. It's unbelievable. I'll make it shorter for you. حديث نبوي شريف. الدين النصيحة. Finish. How long was that? 1 second. To have a deen, just advise one another, help one another. Ya Rasulullah, awsini, O Messenger of God, teach me. I need an advice. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, are you ready for the long hadith? Are you ready? لا تغضب. Finish. Do not get angry. Ya Rasulullah, قال لا تغضب. Ya Habib Allah, قال لا تغضب. He said, حاضر يا Rasulullah. He realized he has an anger problem. And Rasulullah knows he has an anger problem. And he kept repeating until he got it in his head. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, what the young Imam here, who's a student and football player, may Allah bless his youth and his health and his parents and make him min as-salihin and guide other youth through him, inshaAllah. Brothers and sisters, Wallahi, when he said the story of the young brother who was in the streets and he heard of that and he came and he got into Islam, Wallahi, I could not get myself but to sit down and cry. Brothers and sisters, the rate that we are losing our sons and daughters is a very alarming rate. He deals with it, I deal with it. And every day I go home and I cry. Because some of these kids, I myself have taught when they were young. And they grew up and grew up and grew up. Your young innocent child, when he hits puberty, he becomes a different animal. And the society makes him an animal. And that animal, with two horns, the first one that he wants to buck and push and poke is you, the parents. Where does he learn that? He learns that from the public society. This little child that looks so beautiful, so handsome, that harmless, you think he will love you and you will love him for the rest of your life. They hit 12 and they have an entire system waiting for them to corrupt them. From the pictures, to the songs, to the movie stars, to the sports stars, to the society icons, to everything, an entire system, from Instagram to Facebook, to Google Hangout, to Skype, to every social media, from the text to the Viber to the WhatsApp, all that waiting for them, an entire system to corrupt them. Brothers and sisters, may Allah help us with our children. May Allah help us with our children. Brothers and sisters, my eyes are open 10 by 10, that is, on my children. I give them their space, but I am behind them wherever they go, They never went except to an Islamic school or homeschool. But I'm also not unintelligent. I am intelligent. So even in the Islamic school, I don't consider it 100% like, it's not full of angels, it's full of kids. So I took him to the only Islamic high school in our area. And you know, other parents, they brought their kids from public school to here. And Allah Jalla Jalaluhu from above 7 heavens, in a miraculous event, made me and the teachers and the school catch one of the kids who was about to sell drugs to my son. And had I blinked, he would have sold it to my son, and Allahu A'lam what my son would have done. It didn't go that far, but we caught it, and he absolutely has told my son, bring money with you tomorrow, I'm going to give you something cool. So my son is innocent. He came from me and he said, Baba, can I get some $20? I said, what? He said, my friend wants to sell me something cool. Nasib, innocent. So I said, okay, I give $20. I called the principal, I called the teachers, I called everybody. Someone is about to sell drugs to my son. I know it. Is it the problem with Islamic school? No. Did they know? No. Shall I be mad at them? No. I should help them. And if I blinked and was, oh, my son loves me. You know how some fathers, all what they want is for their son or daughter to love them. They spoil their kids when they do that. Your son doesn't need a friend. He needs a father. He needs a mother. He has plenty of friends. Act responsible like a father. If I blink and say, oh, my son loves me, he has to come in and $12, $20, and if I'm not awake and alert, he would have sold him drugs, and Allahu A'lam, I don't know what my son would have done with it. He probably would have brought it to me, took it to the school, hid it, punched him in the face. I don't know what would be the reaction. I cannot predict. it. I hope from Allah that my son would have rejected it. You understand, brothers and sisters? Brothers and sisters, how much would you pay if your son, God forbid, and it never happens to any of you, becomes so sick that they have to go to the hospital, and in the hospital they say, oh my God, brain hemorrhage. If we have to open, we have to go major surgery. Do you have insurance? Yes. Oh, but your co-insurance, you have to pay $20,000 up front. Brothers and sisters, are you going to be thinking about the $20,000 when your son is about to die? You're not going to be thinking about $50,000. You're not going to be thinking about $100,000. You're going to be, treat the kid, and I'm going to go and get you the money. Just don't waste time. Take it right now. And that's for a physical death. Brothers and sisters, what if your child is dying and having a soul hemorrhage in which the blood is coming out and it's killing his soul? He's bleeding and bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, and you will only find out after 5-6 years that he had a soul hemorrhage. How much will you pay for that? You know what? I have seen sons and daughters. They are like the moon and the stars. Physically, they are the most handsome, the most beautiful kids that you can ever wish to have. Tall, slim, physical, beautiful, handsome, everything. The parents are not worried about their health. They're not worried about their grades. They're not worried about their well-being. But they are worried because the kid does not talk to his father or mother with respect. They don't talk to the father or the mother with respect. The mother comes to talk to him, don't talk to me! The father is telling his son, come sit down, do you? I'm going to do whatever I want! Brothers and sisters, what good is your son or your daughter? What good is your son or your daughter if he's healthy and handsome and beautiful and athletic and smart and high grades if he's treating you like he's treating a slave? What good is your son? You have raised your own master and you have become the slave. Na'udhu billah. That's why, brothers and sisters. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, where are we now? Ash-Shahr al-Haram, Muharram. What did we do just last Monday? We fasted Ashura. Remember? You know what Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam did for us? Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah told him, take your wife and take your son and take them next to my house to the first masjid that was ever established for Allah on earth, for mankind to worship Allah. Take him there, next to the Islamic center, next to my house, next to the masjid, next to the holy valley, and leave them there. I will take care of them. We have just finished the season of Hajj. Just finished. It hasn't been a month since Eid al-Adha. Like, yeah, actually it has. A month and a few days. Just a month. Subhanallah, brothers and sisters. What did Ibrahim do? Rabbi, inni askantu min dhurriyati biwadin ghayri li zar'in 'inda baytika al-muharram. Ya Allah, I left my family in a valley, Ya Allah, that doesn't even have plants. He was crying, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. He ran back, he walked away from Ismail and Hajar alayhi salam, and he walked and he hid behind the mountain and he started crying as a father. Ya Allah, I have left my children in a valley that does not have plants. Do you know what it means when Ibrahim says no plants? You know what that means? That means it's a dead valley. If you don't have plants, you don't have insects. If you don't have insects, you don't have anything. You don't have lizards, you don't have animals, you don't have life, you don't have water, you have nothing. You are in the dead valley. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam says, Ya Allah, I left them in a valley. Ya Allah doesn't have even plantation. It doesn't have plants. It has nothing. But I left them next to the source of life. I left them next to your house, to the haram, their spiritual life. Maybe there is no food for their physical body, Maybe there is no water for the physical, but there is a Masjid Haram. Masjid al-Haram. عند بيتك المحرم. And you know what is interesting? There was no masjid built. Allah just told him, this is the site. This is the site. Leave your family. This is the site. Where is the masjid? There is no masjid. Where is the haram? There is no haram. But Allah told him, it's here. Just leave them here. Allahu Akbar. What submission is this? What understanding is this? Unbelievable, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. He leaves them in the morning. He leaves them in the morning. Next to the masjid. Next to the masjid. Move next to the Sammamish masjid. Move next to there. Take your son to Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, any salah you can get him. Take them to the masjid. Take them on the weekend. Just take them to the masjid and let them play in the parking lot of the masjid. Put a basketball hoop and let them play. Wallahi, if you don't teach them nothing, they will grow with a Muslim identity. And they will grow up and they will learn Islam by their own choice. And their Muslim identity will bring them back to Islam. In the morning, Sayyidina Ibrahim leaves Ismail and Hajar. By noon, the food runs out, the water runs out. She's running from As-Safa to Al-Marwa, As-Safa to Al-Marwa, As-Safa to Al-Marwa until she sees Jibreel alayhi salam in the form of a human. She comes, where did you come up? With Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Where did you show up from? I'm the Lord. And he hits the ground with his heels and the water of Zamzam gushes out. She drinks, the baby drinks, she breastfeeds the baby. Two tribes were passing by, Al-Amaliq and Jurham. They come and settle, they were good people. They said, how did you find this water? They said, this water is mine. Rasulullah told us the story, why Zamzam is Zamzam. So Hajar, she has nothing, she's in the middle of nowhere. This tribe, they could have killed her and took the water, take the water. Her and her baby, they would have killed both of them. But they were good people. They said, can we drink from the water? She said, the water is mine. And she came around the water and she collected the sand. It was a spring. And she said, Zumni, 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 Zumni. She built this and then it was called Zamzam. Zamzam in Arabic, and if you just Zamma or Hazama, and when you make Zam, is that you bring something together and you try to close it. And Rasulullah said, may Allah be merciful to my mother, Hajar. Had she left it, it would have been a spring. But when she said Zumbi Zumbi, it became a well. There's no more spring. You have to look for the water down. Brothers and sisters, by noon there was water, by afternoon there was people, and by evening there was the city of Mecca started all over again by Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam's wife and child. Brothers and sisters, in every valley there should be a masjid, and in every valley there should be a family. Brothers and sisters, what do you want to be your legacy? I'm asking you, where is the house of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam? Where is the furniture of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam? Where is the gold of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam? What did he leave behind? What did he leave behind? Did he leave a house? I'll tell you the people who left behind stuff. Do you know the pyramids? Do you know what the pyramids are? They are graves. To who? To the pharaohs. Brothers and sisters, if someone's grave looks like that, how did his house look? If that is his grave, how did his house look? The house was so lavish that this grave looks nothing very. They lived in lavish houses, brothers and sisters. Qarun, with his money, what did he do? Where is Qarun in the history of mankind? I'll tell you where is Qarun. He's under the ground. Allah made the earth swallow him. Why? Because Qarun was consumed by having a personal legacy. I am going to show you who's boss. I am going to show you who makes more money. I am going to show you how am I going to invest my money. I'm going to show you how much money I'm going to multiply. I'm going to show you how many cars I have, and how many houses I have, and how many back home buildings I have, and how many servants back home, and cars that I didn't even use yet, but they're still waiting for me. I'm going to show you who's boss. And I'm going to show everybody, and I'm going to demand respect. You know, people who think like that, they end up like Qarun wa layyan. A lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of this, self-centered. And you know what? Qarun made it to history. He did. And you know where did he make it? To the garbage yard of history. That's where he made it. Do you know Fir'aun? Fir'aun. He made it to history. But you know, there isn't a Jew, a Christian, or a Muslim. You say Fir'aun, but they say La'natullah alayhi. May Allah have curse on him for what he did to the children of Israel, to Musa alayhi salam, to Harun alayhi salam, to the children of Israel. Everybody curses Fir'aun. Every believer from Ahl al-Kitab and Ahl al-Quran, every believer curses. Jew, Christian, or Muslim. Do you want to be like that? Do you want people to say, wow, he built this building, wow, he had this house, wow, he had this, wow, he had that? Or do you want to be like Ibrahim? There is no Jew, Christian, or Muslim. You say Ibrahim, but they say alayhi salam. They praise him one way or another. What did Ibrahim leave behind? Cars, horses, houses, gold, silver, carrots, what? Diamonds? What did he leave behind? I'll tell you what he left behind. He left behind سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله. He built the Masjid al-Haram and he built the Masjid al-Aqsa. That's the legacy of Sayyidina Ibrahim. What legacy are you planning to leave behind? You have money in the bank? What's your plan? May Allah make you make 10 times that amount of money. The Prophet ﷺ said, نِعْمَ الْمَالُ الصَّالِحِ لِلْعَبْدِ الصَّالِحِ. What a good match between good halal righteous money to a good halal righteous person. They are a perfect match. Because when Allah gives a righteous person money, he spends on himself with it. No extravagant, not stingy. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنْفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا. They're not, and those who when they spend, they're not extravagant nor they're stingy. وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. They spend on themselves. They invest their money and they donate their money in the name of Allah for the sake of Allah. Brothers and sisters, what are you planning to do with that money? What car are you planning? MashaAllah, a brother took me from the airport. Huh? Brother Hassan or Hassan? Huh? Hassan. He came and picked me from the airport and MashaAllah we came and we were looking for a parking. Wallahi MashaAllah. I don't know, is BMW dealer close to you or something? Mercedes dealer is close to you or something? Because I thought I was in the dealer, mashallah, all Beamers and Mercedes. May Allah bless that money for you. May Allah give you, instead of 1 Mercedes, 10 Mercedes in dunya and in akhirah, better than Mercedes. But brothers and sisters, for a vehicle to take you from point A to point B. You know, they used to say about the Honda Civic, they used to say a Civic is a headache. It used to break so much, we used to go to the dealer so much, they used to call it a Civic is a headache to run. You know, if you buy Honda, no. Do you know if you buy Kia and brand new Kia will take you from point A to point B? A Porsche will take you from point A to point B. A Ferrari will take you from the same point and do it. And the higher the horsepower and the more likely you're going to get a ticket and get higher insurance and get in trouble and get in an accident and die or paralyzed neck down. The same car takes you from point A to point B. And some people, and you are willing to spend 30, 40, 50. There's a good deal in the BMW. What happened? The car, 75,000, they're selling it for 50,000. Go before they run out. Alhamdulillah, good deal. Wallahi, we bought that one. MashaAllah. May Allah bless your money, brothers and sisters. For a vehicle to take you from point A to point B, you spend this much. For a vehicle that takes you from dunya to Jannah, how much are you willing to spend? That's why, brothers and sisters, I ask you,